Pleased to announce we have two new captains, 2016 season, offense, Jake Butt, and defensively, Chris Wormley. Thrilled with the leadership in our team right now, from our senior class and our younger classes. I think a lot of deserving candidates, but what a great honor for Jake Butt and Chris Wormley. I think they will represent our team very well.
If you have any questions, raise your hand. There's a couple mics here on the left, Larry.
Coach, game notes didn't have a depth chart. Can you shed any light on quarterback competition at least?
It's been very good. Really from day one, the competition at the quarterback position and the play at the quarterback position has been very good. I feel like it's been improving as well, daily, weekly. All the quarterbacks are playing at a very high level.
Jim, just to follow up to that, do you know who your starting quarterback is right now? Do you expect to say it before the game on Saturday?
I do. Yeah, we know who our starting quarterback is, yes. And I'll say who our starting quarterback is before Saturday.
Not today.
Or to you. I didn't say I was going to say it to you before Saturday.
John?
Coach, what is it about Jake and Chris that you think will make them good captains?
Well, they're two of the hardest working guys, two of the best players on the team, and they both have a real great way of being good teammates. They don't build themselves up and put others down around them. They both have that quality of building up other guys around them and making themselves smaller. And when you do that, you make yourself very big indeed in the eyes of everybody, Fred, in the eyes of the whole world, and in the eyes of the people that are on your team. Evidence in so many ways, how they talk to the young players, how they coach the young players. I mean, I've caught Jake Butt in the act of helping the young tight ends several occasions. Caught Chris Wormley giving advice and tips to the young defensive linemen, Bredeson and Ron, and so I think it speaks volumes when you catch guys doing that.
Pass it over to your far side to Gene.
The great thing about our captain vote is it's strictly voted by the players. All players that have been on the team for a year who really know the candidates for being a captain. Coaches' votes do not count, and freshman votes don't count. So it's the guys that really have been in the practices, in the meetings, in the trenches, in the workouts year round that vote on the captains. That's why it makes it such a great honor. That's why it's such a thing that's means so much to all of us, to the team, and to everybody involved. As you know, it's your fellow teammates, it's your players on your team, your peers that are voting and making that assessment.
All the way to your far right, Coach Gene.
When you have several worthy candidates for quarterback position, what are the things that really matter to you when you're making that decision, when you're trying to choose?
Really all the guys haven't played in the games in terms of game experience a whole lot. Each has game experience. Each has had game experience, but here game experience, and so want to see the things that would really translate to the game. terms of moving the team, moving the offense, putting the team, putting drives together, making first downs, converting third downs, getting the team into the end zone, avoiding the turnovers and the mistakes that hurt drives and keep points off the board. That's been the major criteria. We've looked at everything, but that above all on the list is what we've been trying to evaluate in the practices. And as I said, they're all getting better and doing everything that we ask. Great understanding of the offense and what they need to do to be successful. So, been pleased.
Coach in the middle here, Adam.
Jim, with the addition of Biff Poggi, I'm kind of curious his influence. I asked Jake Butt about it the other day, said that Biff hasn't been around a whole lot right now, more behind the scenes. What do you anticipate his role with you? What has his interaction with the team been like this week, and what will it be leading up?
The way we think of everybody, in our organization, there's no little people. There's everybody has a role. Everybody is a professional, and we all have things that we're good at, and we all have things that we're medium good at, and then we all have things that we're not so good at. And what makes up the team is when you can recognize, hey, I need a little help here in this area. I'm really good at this. I'm not so good at this over here. And that's how it all comes together, that everybody does a little, and it adds up to a lot. That on teams have experienced and found that to be the case on good teams, and even great teams and championship teams.
What is this area of strength? What do you think that maybe you would approach him most about? Defense, offense, anything in general, where you feel like you would want his input?
Yeah, well, football-wise, he's a line coach at heart, so and he has a great love and affection for line play. But yeah, Bev is one of those guys. I mean, you talk about having strengths and medium strengths, and then things that you're not so good at. He's good at everything. He's good across the board. So it's been a trusted agent and known friend.
Over to your right, Coach Nick.
You do. I know last time we talked to you, you mentioned Ben Bredeson. Does he still have the shot to win that job at left tackle? Tim talked about him last week. Is he still in the mix there with Randy left tackle?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's in the mix. And there's the unique thing about college football is that there's no preseason. There's no spring training. There's no exhibition season. There's no warm-up games. It goes right into the season. And I don't think there's any other sport in college athletics that is like that. Certainly not in the professional series. So college football is a standalone in that way. So yeah, there'll be practices rage on, the competitions rage on, and you want guys putting themselves in the position to be ready for that opportunity. It's even better to be ready for that opportunity and have that opportunity not come than have the opportunity come and not be ready for the opportunity. And that's Ben's in that position. He's very close. I certainly wouldn't anticipate any kind of not playing for Ben Bredeson. He's acquitting himself very well right now.
In the middle, Coach Matt.
Do you think a bigger advantage for Hawaii to have worked out some of the kinks with the game, or a bigger advantage for you to have film on them, and what did you see out of them?
A lot of good things. Kevin Lempa, the defensive coordinator, has been with Don Brown the last 5 years, I believe. 3 at Boston College, 2 at Maryland. Was secondary coach for Don. Outstanding coach. I know him. He was on the Charger staff when I played in San Diego. Very, very similar aggressive defense. And Hawaii, a very good back, very capable quarterback, 2 really good receivers, and good football team. So I think it'll come down to the way it comes down to every game that we've played here so far, is that when we play good, we're darn tough to beat. When we don't, then we're susceptible to get beat. I think that'll be the case in this game as well.
Ron, there's you.
Jim, you mentioned Bredeson. What other players from the true freshman class are kind of knocked on the door and are going to get some playing time?
Well, I mean, it's continuing right now. It's raging on, really. I kind of explained that, you know, with everything that our freshmen, every single freshman we had was in summer school. It's a great way to, you know, get their feet under them, get some credits, and, you know, take advantage of knowing the landscape and the rigor at the University of Michigan. So we wanted them fully immersed in that over the summer. That'll build a great foundation for themselves academically. And then football-wise, we didn't spend a lot of time with them in classroom settings and meeting settings. You know, that their classroom was in the actual classroom. And when they came to football practice, that was about the only part of the day that they were involved in football, was coming to a 2-hour practice, 3-hour practice. Obviously, they didn't know 10 different blitzes or 75 pass concepts, but we wanted to see what they could do athletically. Could they track a ball? Could a receiver catch? Can they run? Can they change direction? Can they play with balance? Can they play with vision, et cetera, et cetera? So we felt, you know, after going through the first 2.5 weeks, that there were quite a few players that were tracking to be in the 2 deep and the 3 deep, and since then, you know, the last 10 days, been trying to catch them up on the system and the schemes, offensively, defensively, and kicking game, and they're coming fast. There's no question about it. So, you know, put an exact number on it, I can't, but you know, soon, and I think you'll see them playing the games, and there'll be a good number of them. I saw David Long. I'll say this: David Long covered a go route. He had yesterday's practice, as good as it can possibly be covered. From press coverage to, you know, to competing at the point of the catch. No, it's as good as it can be covered. I mean, he's going to be an outstanding football player. And there's others, but the water's a bit hot all camp. There's no question about that. Competitive waters have been almost boiling. It's been great.
Over to your right, Coach Dan.
Jim, just real quick, I wanted to clarify the quarterbacks. I know you said you were gonna tell them at some point. Do those guys know yet who the starter is? Did you know?
Yeah, I know.
And then I want to ask you about Ben Gideon as well. Don Brown was saying he's going from sort of being a role player before in his career to being, it's his show on the defense at this point. How have you seen him grow as kind of being the authority figure on a defense that's reloaded with talent?
No, he's a great player, conscientious worker. He's a football player. Authority figure, that was your word. That's not one that comes to my mind. Heck of a good football player.
Coach, over to your left here, Rachel.
Jim, you know, along the lines of the competitive waters.
Mhm.
Not that there's no actual depth chart out yet, does that mean there's still a battle for competition, position competitions? Is it not a good or a bad thing this close to the season beginning?
I always thought of it as a good thing.
Why?
A lot of competition. Right, if you just went to the Bible and said, like the iron sharpening iron, that would be a very good thing. It's written in the Bible, so from the Word of God. because it is a good thing.
Okay, over here to your left, please, Larry.
Coach, as someone who knows Colin Kaepernick, what do you think about his stance to sit during the anthem, and even if it cost him his job with the 49ers?
I acknowledge his right to do that, but I don't respect the motivation or the action.
Stay over on your left, Coach, Bob.
Jim, a year ago at this time, there was a lot of unknowns. You probably were still getting to know your roster and your team. A year later, do you feel like you have a good grasp of this team and how good it can be? The expectations are way up there. Do you think those expectations are meetable?
I mean, I think the time for, that discussion has been raging on, and, now it's getting very close to playing the game, so, we're looking forward to having at it. Can't wait to watch the guys compete.
In the back.
With the schedule starting how it is with Hawaii, Central Florida, Colorado, is it hard to not look ahead to games like Ohio State, Michigan State, and Iowa? Bigger games like that?
Well, football's hard, tough, rough sport. We believe in respecting it, respecting each and every opponent. If we don't, we will very likely lose the game with the way our schedule is and the teams that we play. I think once the guys watch the tape and see it, they understand that. Deep down, they realize it. And so we have a very respectful approach to each and every game we play.
We have time for a couple more questions here down in the front, Mark.
Jim, down here. Is Kenny gonna do all three? He's gonna be a starter as a kickoff specialist, all the kicking duties and the punting?
He can, and it's not been decided if he will.
Who would be competing with him at, I guess, at the different spots? I mean, at punter especially, I guess, because that was open after us.
Yeah, Kenny's in a pretty. He's solid as in that position.
Punting?
Yeah, he's
And
a really good punter, and he's really good kickoff person. Right now he's the best. He's been the best at all three: punting, kickoff, and field goals. And if that remains the case, and he's clearly the best, then he'll do all three. We'd like for him not to have to do all three. And if it gets, it's just closer in the other areas, kickoffs and field goals. And Quinn Ordain is pushing in terms of the kickoffs and the field goals. Matt Tice, or not, Matt Tice, Ryan Tice. I went to school with Matt Tice, Ryan Tice's uncle. Matt has been phenomenal. So Matt is I said Matt again?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm remembering his name, Ryan, because he's making a lot of field goals, so he's doing a good job. But we'll see.
In the middle, Adam.
Jim, how much has Jordan and Jabril been on offense, specifically Jabril through camp? I mean, he's had to practice on offense, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a yes?
Yeah.
How often has he practiced on offense?
That's something we don't go into, as you might understand why, we don't really tell people what somebody's doing or what part of the scheme that they're in. Just understand that everything is available. Use your imagination, and we'd like our opponent to do the same thing. There's options. So they're all on the table.
Jordan too, then? Yes for both.
Last question up front. Chris?
Lawyer coach, anything you can share on injuries, guys who might not play or no long-term injuries that can?
No, nothing to really share for public consumption.
All right, thanks, Coach. Bring up the players. We'll be here in just a second.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.